Hey Homeworthy, I'm Nicklas.
And I'm Theo. Welcome to our summer home on the Swedish west coast.
You're watching Homeworthy, where we believe every home has a story.
Hi, I'm Nicklas Hultman. I'm a graphic designer and floral artist living in Gothenburg and here at our house in Aröd. And this is Lucy, our black mini schnauzer. She's 6 years old.
Hi, I'm Theo. I work in the change management field and I'm from Gothenburg. So what brought us here is that after spending quite many years abroad, we were 5 years in China, in Shanghai. We've been living in Denmark for 2-3 years and some other places. We came back to Gothenburg in this stunning apartment, but it's really in the city center, no garden, so we were kind of wanting to experience nature. We wanted to be closer to the sea, and yeah, just really also having a lot of stuff that we bought from our travels around the world. So I think we just decided that we need another space for us.
And also we had Lucy and she obviously needed some green spaces to walk around on, more green spaces than the city can offer. So that's also part of the reason that we will started looking.
Yeah, exactly. And when we started, we had this limit of no more than 2 hours in car.
One direction.
One direction. So we started scanning the entire place, like north, south, but with the limit, I mean, we knew that we'd had to be by the sea or really close to the sea. So yeah, I think we spent a couple of months really going on viewings, getting to know the different areas.
Found amazing houses, like old churches that was like 2 hours away, but we realized 2 hours away it's actually quite far, because that's the entire, if you go for Friday after work, then the entire day is gone.
So now we're, I guess, 35 minutes door to door. Right, so we found this place, had no expectations at all. We've never heard ironically about this place, even though it's so close. Yeah, we came out here and didn't really know what to expect. But as soon as we went off the highway, you got this kind of feeling that okay, we're starting to tick the boxes of what we're looking for. So I guess the drive from the highway to here is maybe 12-15 minutes. And the closer we got, it was just wow, there was something
relaxing. Your shoulders just kept falling down, and it's a windy road, and on either side is cows walking, and it's like farmers harvesting stuff. So it's really, really close to nature. Just what we were looking for.
Yeah, it was important not to only fall in love with the house, but also kind of the surroundings. Yeah. So we spent a couple of weekends, some trips, exploring the whole areas. And
since we didn't know the area at all beforehand, everything was a new experience. We didn't know there was sand beaches or cliffs and nature forest that you're not allowed. If a tree falls in a storm, it stays there. So it's super wild forest and enormous trees. We didn't know that this existed. So it was these small treasures unwinding themselves while we discovered the area. This is the living room. We painted it kind of off-white-ish to keep it a little bit warmer white, and also to make all the colorful art pop and stand out. Since it's a lot of art, and we also have a lot of wood on different furniture and surfaces, and we intentionally mixed the types of woods. Maybe you shouldn't do that normally, but we did, and we really like it because also wood ages.
By mixing different types of wood, it's not the easiest thing, and we've failed many things, many times with different furnitures. But I think we got it ish now. I have to say, but it is a mix of like a darker wood, tinted wood. But again, try to keep it light with some darker elements.
And see how the wood ages over time.
Exactly. And I think this is a great example of this chair. It's a fantastic chair done by Enzo Mari, I believe. And you build it yourself. And when we bought it, it was like super pale white. And
almost white.
Yeah, exactly. And like with time, it has like aged and gotten this kind of like much deeper and darker color.
It's completely raw.
Yeah, exactly. Super nice. And as you can see, same with these cabinets by
Virgil Abloh and IKEA collab.
Yeah.
And the placement of these is very intentional because the room is not that big. But you need this kind of furniture. You need to storage your glass and vases and stuff. And it's all corners are glass. So the light just goes through it all. And it's not a big blocky furniture. It just lets the light go through it. And it also reflects very nicely, whatever weather it is, blue sky or like today's grayish. It reflects on it. It's super nice.
Exactly. So we try not to like block the natural light, and also because it's a quite small space, we really want it not to feel overwhelming.
And that kind of brings us to my favorite art corner in the house. This one is a textile by a friend of mine called Brian Kenny. He's an American artist. He works a lot with this collage textile-ish thing, both that he painted but also like fabric from advertising, commercial things. And that goes nicely together color-wise with this one by an artist called Ekta, and he's from Gothenburg. He also works a lot with collage and kind of naivistic kind of painting.
And I think what you will see is that we tend to come back to the color blue in different shapes and forms. And I don't know, we just realized one day like how we're naturally drawn to it. It's not a conscious decision, but and
especially this tone.
Especially that tone as well, yeah. But you will see it.
That is kind of a new favorite for you. You're really into sun at the moment.
Yeah, really into suns. I don't know why. But that's also why we painted certain rooms. You will see it later as well in this super warm yellow color as well.
So when the sun hits it, it just glows.
Yeah. Okay, but speaking of art, there's plenty. But I think one of my personal favorite is actually this one. So this is from Jean-Claude and Christo when they covered the Reichstag in Berlin in fabric. So this is actually a piece of that fabric as well.
And it's silver, so whatever color the sky was, the entire building covered in this reflected in that color the sky had.
And it's such a massive artwork and an installation, and it took several years, and I think one of a kind, and just like having a piece of that in our home is
it's a time capsule of an massive art piece.
This is something that's quite
we
special.
treasure.
Yeah, but I mean, art comes in for us, I think, many different types of shapes and forms. We do also collect like art toys, vinyl toys, plush toys as well.
Yeah, it's a mix.
It's a huge mix, and definitely like the mix of like the contemporary and the different styles.
At some point it was like, well, how many things can we bring home? We need to bring something that is we really use. And since I'm really into flowers, it was like, we should bring vases from all the places we go. So this is some of our favorite ones.
So I think, like, again, like overall theme, it's a mix of travels, like an artist studio as well, but it was always important for us to kind of like bring in also the local element as well, having some Swedish artists. And I mean, Sweden has such a like rich history in so many things.
And the new one, this is by a fresh designer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you went to her exhibition, right?
Exhibition final show.
Yeah.
And then I saw her work, and she only did woodwork, so we connected there. And then she showed me this chair, and I was like instantly in love with it, because everything is in different pieces, so you can just put it all in. It becomes this flat.
Yeah.
She's called Rebecca Manberg.
Yeah. And it's done because she herself had ADHD.
Yeah.
And had a lot of trouble like sitting still at class and listening, concentrating. So it's really done for movement.
And here's my grandfather's painting that I talked about. Next, this is also like, it comes back to contrast all the time. James Jean, a Korean artist that we found when we were in Tokyo?
In South Korea, actually.
South Korea. So this was lithography that belonged to a porcelain plate as well with the same print on it. And this is by a friend of ours called Erik Lengt. I think it's beautiful together. It's just different view on nature. This is small creatures by a Japanese artist called Noe. She's living in London at the moment, and she does amazing ceramics. And this is a series that's Japanese folklore going into nature. So all her things is based on the folklore. Like this one is a moon vase by a story that she got told when she was a kid. And this one is also a vase that she got based on some folklore story that she heard. And we have also another shape, sculpture-ish vase outside. We can have a look later.
Continuing also, like this craftsmanship can also come in like many different like forms. There of course amazing artists who do things in own studios as well, but there are also like other types of similar things that we've also connected with, and I think these two are a great example of that one. It is done by Loviet.
It's a Portuguese brand.
It's a Portuguese brand who really are taking the craftsmanship. They're doing something very, very special with it. They're, using old techniques and keeping them alive by doing so as well.
Everything by hand.
Everything by hand. We really fell in love with this seashell, because I think it's like such a good vibe also, considering we are here by the sea. And Nicklas always making flowers, need vessels of so many different types and kinds. And I think this one just like is like a perfect match.
It's actually a soup bowl.
Yeah,
but
or a
it's
salad bowl as well, and it has a lid, so it is actually kind of like a mythical figure of some sort. It's super cute. But we have like a majority of the house is quite like open, so like if we would move in here, we would go into the kitchen area. But even though it's quite open, I quite like that we have this one. It's still dividing the rooms somehow, but still keeping it open.
So when we were looking at all these houses, we have one thing at the back of our head. Since we lived abroad so long time, we collected a lot of stuff and memories that are really valuable for us and that we wanted to see, not just put them in a storage. And when we were looking at different houses, we was like, can this fit in here? Can all our stuff work here? What kind of mood will that create in this space? So that and being too far away was kind of narrow it down if the space was not allowing our things to speak. And we also have what kind of style, since we have that many things, we were talking about what kind of style should we go for. And we've always been inspired by David Hockney's studio style, or Virgil Abloh's style, or Keith Haring's studio. You know, those messy style where it's a lot of colors, a lot of stuff, everything is loud. They could play something and that's not permanent. It could be there for a week or it could be there for 2 minutes. Nothing is permanent, it's just a vivid space. So that's kind of the style that we wanted to interpretate here as well.
So when it comes to like how we wanted to decorate, and we really started off with like a vision. We knew that the house, it's a timber house done in actually in a traditional Norwegian style. It's a Norwegian architect. So it was trying to figure out, okay, we have this style of the house. We want to be true to that style. We have a lot of stuff that we bought from our trips and travels that are really meaningful for us because they hold so many memories. But then we also reflected on like, who are we? What types of spaces do we also want to be in and enjoy and, you know, are creative in? Your artistic background as well is super creative. We really have always been leaning towards this artistic style. And then that led us to an artist studio. So we did some research. We checked out, was it David Hockney?
Yeah, Virgil Abloh and Keith Haring.
Yeah, so we're looking at these artist studios, like the behind the scenes of what they do when they are producing, when they are creative. And
how they use their spaces.
Yeah, and that's really, I think, that stuck with us quite a lot, and thinking of also what we have, our stuff as well, and what we are actually could also build on long term, that felt very right for us.
Yeah, that kind of creative spaces where nothing is permanent.
Yeah, so that's how it all started, and I think still, like, to this day, even though we have quite many things here, you know, it is always when we're out like shopping or at flea markets and we see something that we like, and if we're not sure if it is for us, then we ask ourselves, like, is this a studio object? Yeah.
If it's not, then we don't pick it up.
Yeah. Then we just leave it. But it's also like this element of like from an artistic studio, an artist studio, it is also like the creation process of like owning and developing and mastering a craft as well. So that has also led us to like look for things that are handmade, or somewhat, you know, there is a technique behind it, because
those kind of objects has a part of the soul that the person who have done it, it's kept in there, and we really like that, because that's like, it's a lot of stories in all the objects.
So now we are in the kitchen, which is made out of like 2 kitchen islands, which I was a bit skeptical to in the beginning when we just moved in, but after some time now I absolutely love it. I think it is the best type of layout for me and for us and for being social, because my experience is that when we have friends over, you want to talk, you want to, you know, they want to see what's happening. You sometimes need them to help out, and by all being gathered here, that gets enabled, and it creates this kind of like super informal dinners that are just fantastic. And having both sides here, it really also then offers quite a lot of workspace. The only thing that we did is that because we wanted people sitting here looking into where the food gets prepared, we added this, I don't know, I think it's like Swedish, it's a Swedish stone of some kind, just to like bring the table out a bit to be a bit more comfortable for sitting and eating. So I think otherwise we've kept it quite simple and clean. Really enjoy when it comes to like cooking and food and preparing food is that I know a lot of people with the kitchens like it practical, and I think I'm quite the opposite. As you can see, it is much more centered around having nice things around me rather than practical things, because I think being around things that you really enjoy, that really helps with the creativity in the kitchen. I think this is a great example. This is just like the most beautiful shell you've ever seen. It has no function at all whatsoever, except for the creative process. And I think that's what food is all about. And again, we're sticking to the, like again the sea, the seashells. It's quite everywhere in the home. Nicklas has his creativity with, you know, flowers, arrangements, and so on. And the food, that's kind of like my thing. And when it comes to food, my biggest inspiration, I think it's this book. It's a book about Salvador Dali. I don't know, it's everything, to be honest. It's my greatest source of like inspiration when it comes to how to think, how to view food and produce, how to set tables. It is, you know, it's really pushing beyond when it comes to what food is and how to experience it. And I think that's also how I've kind of like centered the kitchen around. I don't mind doing manual things instead of like using a machine to do it, because there is something in that process. You can control certain things in a different way. So when it comes to cooking in kitchen, being practical really has no space here. A really good way where we kind of like are combining or joining forces is I also use quite a lot of flowers, and when it comes to like the creativity, when it comes to, you know, decorating, I always steal flowers from Nicklas arrangements. I bring up the scissors.
And even if I have made flowers for the dinner, you always say, "Can I pick these?"
Yeah, exactly.
And then you kind of
exactly.
see me ruin it, but it's okay.
And right now, I mean, it's like end of summer. There's a lot, so you like it's so easy just to go out and you get super nice things, but maybe not as much on the rest of the year. So starting to kind of like dry flowers as well, and keeping them close also is just a nice reminder. Like, it is things like this that really matters so much. Again, keeping up with the Salvador Dali theme as well, also trying to incorporate like I say in style of, especially as well. And I think these two, this giant fork and spoon is really just like could come straight from the book as well. So it is this kind of like cues that kind of like reminds me, I would say, that like it can be so much more than just like a hot meal on a plate. And I think right now, peak season of apples, or soon to be peak season of apples, you know, just like bringing in a branch, it can really just keep it super simple, but does quite a lot.
Yeah.
These ones, I think, super unpractical for sure, but worth it. We bought them when we were in South Korea, and I think they're traditional cast iron rice cookers. I have them in multiple sizes and shapes. This tray which I now have tomatoes on. When I was a small kid, I think like many in my age, had Indiana Jones as their like true hero. So had I, and always been kind of like stuck with me, and always had kind of like this childhood dream that one day I will also, dig up things in the desert. Didn't really turn out like that, but so that's for my 40th. We went on a cruise down the Nile in Egypt. So that was almost like a 1-week cruise that we did on these old sail ships. And we did stops along the way while cruising down the Nile, just like Agatha Christie. We actually even saw the boat that she went on as well. There was just such a meaningful trip because, it was this kind of like childhood dream, almost like coming to life. We visited the pyramids, the Sphinx, we saw all the mummies and stuff like that, but also like being on this sailing down the Nile has been the most, life altering, or has had the biggest impact on me and how I view kind of like vacations, on how I view kind of like food and experiences.
It was so amazing because it was only the wind that took us down the Nile, so everything was, of course,
so quiet,
so slow paced. And there was nothing to do more than just calming down and sitting down and watching people living their normal life on either side of the Nile. So that was amazing.
Amazing. So then, of course, we made stops. We did many things, and that's where we bought this one. And again, this is also made out of like an very old traditional way of working with a very specific kind of clay that almost kind of like that knowledge got almost lost. But then has been brought to life. It has also helped people, creating a business, and it has generated work opportunities for people. And it's also just like stunning. It has this blue, it has the flowers. It really feels like it's made for us. And I don't know if. I think this is the one thing I would actually save from a fire, to be honest.
Oh, did you know that?
Exactly. No, but it holds so much in this one piece. It's my birthday, it's my youth, it's my like dreams as a young boy, and it's quite something.
Wherever there's a space to put flowers, I tend to put flowers on those spaces, and of course in the kitchen there's lovely to have them. And when I do is like fruits and vegetables in them, since we are in the kitchen, it's like a reminder of where they belong. And this one, for example, is built to fit the area it stands. It has the ladder up to the TV room as the backdrop. So that's why the shape is like that. And it also opens up to where the rest of the kitchen are. And I always mix here is that 100% seasonal flowers. And now Sweden is peak beautiful seasonal flowers. So it's really easy. Whatever season it is, I think it's super interesting to like really go out. If you're out walking with the dog, for example, just look down. What you see? Is there a fallen branch? Is it like weeds growing on the sidewalk? That could be super beautiful, like dandelions, for example. Things that you don't normally put in an arrangement or use as like expensive flowers. Just treat them as if they were. So this one, since you're moving around it needs to be beautiful 360 degrees. But if there was supposed to be a wall here, then it could just be 180 degrees. So that's a little thing that you have to bear in mind when you building your floral arrangements. And this one has the same ingredients as the big one that was in the living room. And the reason for that is that these two flowers, you see them or you experience them in the same room. So I wanted them to be like a family, but this one is more foodie and is leaning this way, allowing Theo to like prepping his food. But the other one is more bombastic, big, it's bold. That's okay because it's in the living room, so it can take that space. And they goes very well together. So wherever you're looking, it's like nothing that distracts the eye. It creates harmony, even though it's maybe not so harmony much in it, but it stays there together. I remember one time when I was got this clay, I was really inspired by Keith Haring already then, and he drew this, like, you know, the dog. So I made my version of that dog in clay, really cubistic one, and then my grandfather took it, and when I come back like a couple of months later, he had glazed it and prepared it, and also he had made a version of my version of Keith Haring's dog. So he started to produce that. So now he has done that in, I think it's 2 or 3 different sizes and colors as well. The dog is called is Skotte in Swedish. What's the English word?
It's a Scottish breed, similar to a miniature schnauzer, but a bit lower with the beard.
Yeah, with a lot of hair down here. Yeah, so that's I have it by the side of the bed. Yeah, and actually that painting is by him. So one day when we were walking around in the house, he said, since I was like, me and him was connecting a lot because we were talking art and shapes and colors. He said, Nicklas, if you could choose any picture you want that I have drawn, which one would it be? And then I had this one because it was in a kind of when you were a kid, and it was like some areas in a super big house are scary because the floor is kind of squeaking and stuff like that. And that painting was in a space that was like that. And I immediately knew that that's the one that I wanted. And he was like, it's yours. You can bring it home. So it's with me ever since. He woke up really, really early to go for a walk with his dog, and also out in his garden, checking out the flowers and stuff. And we always picked a couple of flowers to bring home. So when my grandmother come down from the stairs to have her morning coffee, he had placed the flowers just next to her coffee. So whenever she got down, wake up to a fresh set of flowers. And I think that's it's so easy and it's so simple, but it's also so thoughtful. It's a really nice gesture. And so whenever I'm out walking with Lucy, I used to pick some flowers that normally ends up next to your bed. Yeah. So you have them now in the window. Okay, let's check the bedroom. Okay, so here's the little dog that I talked about that my grandfather did, his version of my version of Keith Haring. And this is the bedside flowers that Theo always gets as a nice thing to fall asleep to, and a nice thing to be the first thing you watch or see when you wake up. The color in here is India Yellow by Farrow and Ball. It's when the sun comes in this direction, the entire room glows, and here this is a little bit like the sun that Theo is really into at the moment. And he sleeps on this side, so he wakes up in the sun. Sun worshipper. Yeah. And we also have this color. We had it in our house in Denmark, and we also have it in the TV room upstairs.
I think of all of the colors we've tried throughout the years, this really is the one that it sticks with us, regardless of location, time, style, we always come back to India yellow and have it somewhere.
Yeah, because it's so nice because it varies depending on weather, the lights, so it's never the same. The room and the light completely sets the tone. And these bedside tables also has like a unique story behind them. When we found the head underneath the house, next to him was this. We don't really know what they were intended to have for function, but we used them. We found two, so it's our bedside tables now. And they, like wood do, they like crack sometimes or change color, and we absolutely love it. We age with the wood.
Also, we have another room, not so very easy to access, but one of our favorite ones, our TV room.
Yeah, it's up here, and it functions as both as a TV room and a guest room. When we moved in, we had the TV in the living room, but after a short while, we realized that TV, when it's turned off, is just a black square, and it creates such strange energy having this black hole. So we didn't want it in the living room, but we still needed it. And we had this space. So up here it's super cozy, and it's completely private, and it's super nice to watch film up here.
Yeah. And Lucy comes up as well, but she needs some help. Looking at our previous homes, has been quite a mix. Like when we lived in China, I think it was 35 square meters.
Yeah, it was so small.
So small. So and it was a service apartment. So we were really limited on what we could do there. But it was also nice because it kind of it was a break. It was a couple of years of collecting input instead and inspiration. And then when we moved to Denmark, we bought an enormous house, huge house. And I think
4 floors.
4 floors.
Yeah.
Over 100 years old, brick house, stunning. But it was all painted in gray.
Yeah, different shades of gray.
Different
Yeah,
shades
not
of gray.
the fun thing.
Yeah.
Just boring gray.
Yeah. But again, I think we started off really jointly coming up with a vision as well. And I think also looking at the actual architecture, the style and setting of that actual house, I think that's a really good start.
Yeah.
Because if you have an old house, what's that identity? How can we stay true? How can we find the best elements from that time and so on? So I think at that time then for that house we did it was quite elaborate mood board.
Yeah.
We knew that we want to go towards a much more color blocking, much more a
Intense colors.
Intense colors, very inspired by
Art museums.
art museums.
How they, especially Danish art museums,
Yeah.
they're really good at putting strong colors in separate rooms and then adding art on top of that.
Yeah.
And you might think that just having white walls with art on that makes the art pop. But it's kind of the opposite if you work with it.
Yeah. But then when we have this joint vision or mood board or a direction, then we really go our quite separate ways.
Yeah.
We always kind of stay true somehow to our direction and vision. So but as an example, I'm the one doing most of the cooking and so on, so I take kind of lead in kitchen and stuff like that. You take other spaces, especially your creative spaces.
Yeah, my studio and my office is it can be wild in there.
Yeah.
And you are kind of looking the other way if you're walking by that room and just allowing things to be as they were left.
Exactly. Because in the end of the day, we are never fixed we're never done. Our space is constantly evolving.
The reason why we picked Denmark after we went to China is because my mom's Danish. So when I was a kid, we were in Denmark all the time. So that's the connection there. And when we also used to go to Denmark a lot when we lived in Sweden before. And my grandfather is a potter, so he has like a ceramic studio there. So whenever we were kids, we got like a clay, and then we got to do something, and then we came back like a couple of months later. He have burned it and glazed it, and then it was like a cycle, and then we got a new clay and new glazed product. And he has a rose garden there, huge. So he taught me how to paint in those gardens with watercolors and stuff. And my mom taught me how to appreciate flowers. So because she's a florist, so flowers has always been like a super present element in my life. And she also had a flower store in this tiny village where I grew up. So whenever after school I went to her store and just played around with whatever fell on the floor. That was not good enough to sell, but super good enough for me to play with. So I think maybe that's where my appreciation for like leftover flowers, or flowers that kind of will bloom over in 2 seconds, that's when they are most majestic, I think. They're most colorful. I like that.
So this is our utility room.
And in here is 3 outtakes from a project I did when we lived in China. I created a floral lexicon called Florography, and that's the meaning of flowers. Because every flower has a meaning. If you give them by right or left hand, right upside down or down, or even if it's how many numbers they are or what colors they are. So I was in contact with a lot of florists all around the world to see is it the same meaning? Is it the same language? And there was slightly differences, but mostly it was the same meaning. So I took pictures of a lot of flowers, and I had an exhibition with it, both in China, Denmark, and in Sweden, and with these images. And it also ended up in a book that was called Florography. Yeah. And daffodils is another favorite. It's vibrant, and it's the sign of spring, which everyone loves when it arrives. Yeah.
And down there you have a huge big ship with rainbow colors, and actually it's a quite nice story around that one. It was a couple of years ago when we lived in China. We took the opportunity to travel as much as we could whilst being, in that region. So one time we went to Bali, and I was so bored at the beach.
You're easily bored.
I'm easily bored at the beach. So are you. So I bought this kite, and I had a blast. Like, all days, every day, I was out with my kite, and I completely fell in love with this kite. So I packed it in my bag and everything, and on our way home, the airport security staff took it. I was not allowed to take the kite. Devastated, obviously. We went back and tried to find it, but we couldn't. And years passed. And what you need to know about Nicklas, he is a master of giving gifts. The worst at receiving gifts as well, I have to say. Yeah. But fantastic at giving gifts. So one day when we actually got the house, it's quite windy here, being on the west coast. He surprised me with a gift. And never in a million years could have, he always gives me gifts, very thoughtful gifts that I always love. But never in a million years I would have imagined that I would get this exact same kite, which I got.
I researched a lot.
Yeah, and unfortunately, at that day there was no wind at all. So
you were running with no wind.
I was running here trying to get it up, but there was I had to give up. So now it's there, parked, and I absolutely love it.
And here's the bathroom. And this room is actually one of the best rooms to photograph flowers in. And like here, for example, I placed the pedestal, the ones that I collect there. And as you can see, it's like amazing light for the flowers. And that's when the flowers is here, just next to the Keith Haring poster that we found on the flea market. It's really nice combination of the pop art and the new art. The entire house was this color. It wasn't painted, so it was like going into an old sauna almost. You couldn't see any furniture or anything. It was just wood all the time. It's fascinating. Maybe we wouldn't do that today, but it was like standard back then.
Yeah.
So when we first saw this house, and also when we started to carry our bags here, the nature was like complete. It was the forest.
Yeah. We had really taken over.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. So we started to like sculpture it down, and when we did that, we found things, areas that someone very long time ago have created, but nature have taken over. So it was like, oh, we didn't know this existed. And we had that experience on several places in the garden. And so we started to like sculpture it, and then like fine tune areas, but not too harsh, because we really wanted it to be, I mean, we are in the nature, and we wanted it to still feel like you are in the nature, but you still need to like keep it clean, not make it look messy.
Yeah, exactly. And also really having like, we have these huge oak trees, and really also allowing them to take space as well, and for them to really pop and, you know, bring out their silhouettes as well, without being it like too overwhelming of too many things. Also.
And they are quite unique to this area of Sweden, the oak trees, because they are the soil or something that's just perfect for them. So they are massive.
Exactly.
We are not completely fond of them because the leaves never goes away. So it's like we love
it's a lot of work having oak trees, and we have a lot of them. But it's still nice, and it's
they are beautiful.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
But a lot of work. For sure.
Yeah.
Let's move outside. This is our outside shower, but it's more kind of like vibe, I would say. This area is really like, you can have your morning coffee, you know, you can like just like enjoy the nature, and while you're, you know, doing all of this. And we thought it was a bit weird having an outside shower, but I think this is one of our like best things with this house, actually.
Yeah, it is.
You know,
it grows on you.
It grows on you being outside, like even if it's like in the middle of the night and you're showering and you see all the stars in the sky.
Or if it's raining. It's
or
amazing
if it's raining.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, just like being out, it's still hot water, of course. And
before going to work and having like a rain shower.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And you just like kind of like move through the house in this whole area. It's a really good way to both start and end a day.
Yeah, and obviously there was an area that kind of invites placing flowers on them. So naturally I did. So these different types of grass I picked down at the sea. And since they are outside, they needed to be in a vase that it's really high, and I wanted it to be like really fill the space. So the vase is like, it's ceramic, porcelain, but it looks like it's metal, but it's not. And as everybody know who wants to place flowers outside, you know there's wind that you have to have in mind. And this you need to have like a really heavy vase that can stay put, and this one can. So we can easily leave it overnight, or how long you want, because it stays there and it's still. And I love that. You create something beautiful and then it just grows with nature. Nature does what it wants with it. I love that. Okay, so now we're outside, and this is our dinner area outside. The table by hay. It's Danish, so we love it, obviously. And flowers, always bombastic. We're outside, they can be as big as we want, or the flowers allow. But the view is, you can see on a clear day, you can see miles and miles away. So this side is for the guests. So they get the view here, and they obviously get Theo's food also as a view. And me and Theo, we always sit on that side because we don't need the view. The guests get it. So we look at the guests and the house. Yeah, that's how we treat the guests. And also over here is the final sculpture by the Japanese ceramist Noe. It's also like creature or mountain. Anyhow, it's a vase, so we need it.
We really connected with this place.
Yeah, it's our sanctuary.
Yeah. I think another level of being creative, being so close to like so many types of elements here. You really have the forest, you have the sea, you have farming land. We have sheep almost living like next door.
Yeah, we can hear them on
yeah.
some mornings.
Yeah, exactly. And they go out taking walks just by our house as well. We, long term, for sure, we really want to spend much more time here. I mean, of course, we do like having both the city and this kind of like country.
Yeah, we like the contrast.
Yeah, we like the contrast
with that.
For sure. But I think as time goes, we're leaning much more to being much more at ease here, a bit more creative.
Yeah, you unwind in a certain way when you're this close to nature.
Yeah.
Like the rhythm of the sea or the wind in the trees. It's like you can't get that in the city.
Exactly. And of course, Lucy, being out all day.
It always comes back to Lucy.
No, so it's a very special place for us, and for sure long term spending much more time here, and we've just started to kind of like explore what that means. I mean, it's perfect for us right now, but if we want to spend more time here, we need to rethink certain things. And luckily, we're friends with this, I think, amazing architect. He is just brilliant.
One of the best, you could say.
One of the best, for sure. So we reached out, and we actually invited him to spend 24 hours here with us. Because we really felt that if we are expanding it needs to be done in the right way. It needs to be done much more than just a drawing on a piece of paper. We need somebody to kind of like understand us.
Yeah.
To understand
how we live, how we use the space, what we appreciate in this space, in nature, how we use the house and what we lack in the house.
Exactly. So we invited him to come and stay with us for 24 hours. And we really did kind of like the best of the best. I think we were having dinners, we were out swimming in the ocean late at night, we did walks in the forest, we spent time in the garden.
He saw the morning sun behind the trees moving that way, how the sun moves and touches objects. Yeah.
So we really kind of wanted him to also really understand how we feel about this place as well. So that was really, really nice. And I think it was so good that we did that as well.
Yeah.
So he's thinking and drawing as we speak. So we have no idea yet what will come back and what shape or form. So
he had some initial ideas that we really appreciated. It was like, we appreciate the nature, like the mountains, the rocks, and the spectacular view and nature on that side. So he wanted to like interpretate that somehow, which we of course appreciated. But we haven't seen anything yet, so it might be the complete opposite. So we'll see.
We'll see. Thanks for stopping by, Homeworthy.
But now it's time to go. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Go to homeworthy.com for exclusive content and shopping guides.